起来祷告。Father God, we give you thanks for who you are, for how good you are to us. Thank you for loving us so much that despite whatever we're going through in every one of our families here, despite our personal circumstances, our pains, our sorrows, our difficulties, our financial situation, you love us the same. 你对我们的爱不改变，不管在什么样的情况当中，你还是一样的与我们同行。And for that, we give you thanks. Especially, we want to pray for the families here that are struggling. Would you continue to walk with us? For the individuals who are struggling, would you continue to be with us? Help us and raise us up so that we can be a testimony for your goodness and for your glory. Be with us and minister to us today. In Jesus' name, amen. So today, if you have your Bible, go ahead and take out your Bible. We'll be in Matthew chapter 10, 马太福音第10章. And 马太福音第10章. And once you get there, go ahead and lift up your head and so I can see that you're there. If you need a Bible, raise your hand. Somebody will hand one to you. If you don't, most of it is on the projector. Now, I always would love to have my own Bible so I can read from it. 马太福音第10章. Now, before we start, I want to ask all of us. Well, I have a question to pose. Okay, so for me, sometimes I'm thinking, what is God thinking? What is on God's mind? What is on God's mind? In fact, what is really going on in God's mind when He tells us certain things? Or when we even examine our lives 的时候，我们看到我们的生命，我们看到我们的过去的时候，有时候其实是一团乱。或者是我们现在的 current relational problems is so problematic, you don't know how to handle it. And why the chaos in our lives? Why does God? 因为我们知道圣经说，上帝允许事情发生在我们的生命当中，不管是好的，不管是坏的，甚至 God would even allow evil to happen in our lives. In fact, just from the story of 旧约的 Joseph, we know God actually uses evil to bless His people. Why the chaos in our lives? Why the disorientation? Why the problems in our lives? What is on God's mind? Especially when we dig into Matthew chapter 10 today, we will see 上帝就是耶稣他所说的 in Matthew chapter 10, 很多 as I read through it, it doesn't make sense to me. I can't figure it out. Why would God choose to say it that way? Why would God choose to do this, to do that? But behind it, I think, is a very deep meaning. It's a very deep purpose. Matthew chapter 10. So He called to Him His 12 disciples, servantmentu, and gave them authority over unclean spirits to cast them out, to heal every disease and every affliction. The names of the 12 apostles are these. 所以他接下来会 name the 12 apostles. Simon, who is called Peter, Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, James, son of Alphaeus, pay attention to that, and Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. As I study through the names of the 12 disciples, why would God put that there? And so I study other books where the list of the 12 disciples are mentioned. It's chaos. It's chaos. 圣经里面一共发生了4次，就是 the writer of the gospel as well as the book of Acts， 马太、马可、路加都有记录这12个门徒的名字，可是每一次记录他们的顺序都不一样。Why？ 就是很奇怪，为什么每一次记录他们的顺序都不一样？ There's always some changes in the list， 不管是在马太、马可、路加里面 report， 或者是在使徒行传里面 report 的。And so I go, why is there chaos there? Well, before I even go there, apostles here. Matthew actually says Jesus calls his disciples to us and sent them out as apostles. Now, apostolos is a sent out one who is being sent out. 我们现在也有 apostles where God sends us out. A sent out one is what apostles mean. Now, compared to disciples, mathetes, in the Greek actually would mean a learning one. 我们是神的门徒，我们是其他人的门徒 in that we are a learning one, one who is constantly learning how to live the Christian life. So that's the difference between an apostle, and a disciple. One is being sent out. So for some of us, our calling is an apostle, but not everybody is an apostle. It's not everybody who has their hand, who is called to go and where the churches lay their hand on to send them off. But everyone should be a disciple, one who is learning of God. Now, the problem with the list of disciples is every time that it shows up, the order is kind of different. It's kind of different. There's not one time that is completely the same. Now, as I study, this is very interesting. 看起来也许有一点 chaos， 看起来有点 inconsistency， 看起来你不知道为什么。Every writer writes it differently, but you always see this pattern. 一共有12个门徒，第一个名字跟第5个名字，还有跟第9个名字 ，always is the same person。可是他们带的人呢是一样的人，可是他们那个 within 那个顺序都会是一样的。So for example, the first group, Peter always appears at the first place. Peter always appears. 他呢，其实 Jesus actually organized him into smaller groups. 12个门徒 but yes, we actually organized them into smaller groups. 第一组呢，永远是 Peter 在带。Peter 在带 Andrew, James, son of Zebedee, and John. Andrew, James, and John 这个名字呢，有时候顺序是不一样的。耶稣派他们出去的时候，很有可能是因为耶稣派他们出去的时候是两个，可是 within 一个小组里面呢，总是 Peter 在带。不管是马太、马可、路加，或者是使徒行传，你永远看到前4个名字都是这4个人。接下来第2组呢是 Philip 在带 ，Philip 的名字总是在第5位 ，always 在第5位，因为第2个小组是 Philip 在带 ，Philip 永远带的是 Bartholomew, Thomas, and Matthew, the tax collector。第3组永远是 James, son of Alphaeus， 因为有2个 James，son of Alphaeus 在带，他总是在带 Thaddeus, Simon。然后他比较惨了，他需要带 Judas，OK， 每一次他都是要带的。So even though Jesus 在带 ，Jesus 永远在带这12个门徒，然后 there is 3 who is really close to him， 但是 Jesus is so organized, he's so organized in that Jesus always allows these 3 people whenever he sends them out, whenever do missions, whenever the name is listed, to allow Peter to be 第一组的小组长，第2组是 Philip， 第3组是 James, son of Alphaeus。Now they might go out and they might pair up differently in that 第一组 Peter 可能有时候是跟 Andrew，Peter 有时候可能跟 James，Peter 有时候可能是跟 John。所以这是第一个 reason why Jesus organized。那另外一个是 I believe Jesus organized the people according to their chemistry as well. You see the first group， 我们没有很多 information about all these people， 我们只有 some information。We know that Peter and Andrew and James and John 这是第一组的 they actually 是 they were in business together. They own a fishing company basically. They were fishermen and they knew each other even before they came to know Christ. 当耶稣呼召他们的时候，他们才一个一个 come to Christ. 所以呢 Jesus 的 logic 是 I'll just pair them together. I think there's a lot of wisdom in how to run 一个小组 and how to run 一个团契 in this regard. So in that, Jesus actually has very interesting things just by organizing 他的门徒们. You see that Jesus has very interesting to say. Now, as we continue in the chapter, in the book of Matthew, chapter 10, Jesus now gives out weird instructions, very odd instructions, very challenging instructions. 有时候会觉得说 why would he say that? Follow with me if you want. Matthew chapter 10, verse 5 to 6. These 12, 就是我们刚刚讲的12个门徒 Jesus sent out, instructing them, go nowhere among the Gentiles and enter no town of the Samaritans, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. 那耶稣叫他们基本上要干嘛？耶稣叫他们说，你们不要去外邦人的地方，你们不要 go any further, just stay here. 你只要去跟以色列人传讲我接下来要跟你讲的东西。Don't go further. 耶稣不爱外邦人吗？耶稣不爱外邦人。耶稣不爱以色列以外的人吗？为什么耶稣叫他们要 send them out to do a preaching tour 的时候，耶稣跟他们讲说 do not go to the Gentiles. I think here Jesus wants a clarity and a focus in what his mission is, in what his disciples should be doing. There is one thing you gotta get right. disciples, there's one thing you have to do right now. As I send you out, there's one thing I want you to really pay attention to, really focus on, and that is for the house of Israel. 当你出去传福音的时候，我现在不要你 think about all the people in the world. No, I only want you to think about the immediate Israelites. I only want you to focus on them. And Jesus doesn't care. 就是 Gentiles right now doesn't have the gospel because his top priority, his mission right now for the 12 disciples 就是以色列人 right now, the lost sheep of Israelites. Jesus showed extraordinary clarity in his mission. Let me ask all of us, what is that one thing that you absolutely, in this season of life, you have to accomplish? Jesus will not call you to do 100 different things. But right now, 你现在必须要做一件事情，你必须要 accomplish， 你必须要 focus on 的一件事情是什么？ For some of us, it's simply getting through school. For some of us, God is so crucially telling you, this is the season you have to pay attention to your relationships. This is the season to do relationships correctly. Or for some of us, God is telling us, this is the season where I want you to focus on serving me. Don't do anything else but focus and focus. 你必须要把你的灵命 get in line with me right now. And for some of us, God is saying you have to focus on family. Nothing else. Yes, work is important, money is important, church is important, but you have to 把你的家里顾好 or everything crumbles. I don't know what God has called you to do, but if God has called you to do one thing with extraordinary clarity and focus right now in this season of life, what would it be? Because when Jesus sent them out, it wasn't haphazard. It was clear. It was focused. He continues. And Jesus told the disciples, and proclaim as you go, saying, 就是这门徒们，你们去的时候 focus just on the Israelites. 你们去的时候 saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers, cast out the demons. You receive without pain, so give without pay. Now, Jesus 叫他们去 preach 的东西呢，其实很短。其实 Jesus 只有教他们去做两个。Basically, preach the kingdom of heaven is at hand. This is their message. The number one thing that they need to do is preach the kingdom of heaven is at hand. 第二个就是 you heal the dead, you heal the sick, raise the dead, and cleanse the lepers, and cast out the demons. 所以第二个是一个 manifestation， 一个是一个 message， 一个是一个 demonstration of the reality of the kingdom of God. Now, when Jesus told the disciples, go, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go, and their number one priority is to proclaim the kingdom of heaven is at hand, right here. Jesus is telling them that the kingdom of heaven is reality. Just as I have demonstrated for you, and you receive it without pain, I want you to go and demonstrate that the kingdom of heaven is a reality for people around you as well. See, for some of us, we们没有办法 focus on the kingdom of heaven as reality immediately in our lives. You just can't. 因为呢，你知道吗？as I study 就是开始想一些 verses. 因为 kingdom of heaven is such a reality, but we don't feel that way so often. We get sidetracked, we get out of focus. 其实 John 3:16 呢，其实 is not a verse just about forgiveness. For God so loved the world, He gave His one and only Son, that whoever believes in Him will not perish but have eternal life. 不至灭亡，反得永生。所以我们永远是 I'm forgiven, I'm forgiven, and we only focus on the unforgiven part. But if you really pay attention to that verse, that verse is actually telling us not just about forgiveness, but about new life. We only focus, I'm forgiven. So we look here and we look sometimes to the past. And we don't allow ourselves to be forgiven, so we focus on now and we focus on the past. But that verse is actually telling you, you have a whole new life ahead of you. God has cleansed you and washed you so that you have a brand new life ahead of you. So grace is so important that you actually allow the past to go. 你知道有多少人没有办法 let the past go? And it's haunting us. It's haunting us. It's haunting us. 不管是 our family, our past relationships, our own mistakes. 你永远没有办法 get out of that loop. 永远每次人家谈到那个 topic 的时候，你还是想起来，然后你还是困在里面，你还是被绑住。But God is actually asking, would you allow grace to actually be a dominant part of your life? and no longer focus on the past, but rather receive the new life God has given you. So, 这个 as Jesus told them to go, what is the definition of success for these disciples? Preach the kingdom of heaven is at hand, proclaim it, right, as reality, and secondly, heal the sick and all that, and raise the dead, cast out the demons. So what is success? For some of us, success in our lives is how much I make. For some people, you make a lot of money. For some, it's my degree. For some of us, it's our initials behind our name or before the titles. For some of us, it's how big our house is. So what is success? As I study, this is so amazing. Success is the present kingdom of God in our lives. It's not about accomplishing something. It's not about doing something, but rather allowing God's kingdom to be present in every aspect of our lives. That God's kingdom can be a reality in our lives. So, to the extent in which we live in the kingdom of God is the extent we influence people around us for the kingdom of God. Now, I want to try to challenge everybody real quick, okay? Church can sometimes make you not want to go to church. Church can sometimes choke the spiritual life out of you because there are so many things to do. Like Martha, there's so many things to do. You don't have time for Jesus, right? Sometimes 我有时候开车到教会的时候啊，前面那个人比较慢，然后我很赶的时候呢，我真的很想要按喇叭，叭 Don't you know I'm late for church? Come on, I need to get to church, right? Sometimes church is so full of anxiety for me. I can't breathe right. Sometimes I don't want to do my devotions because sometimes church is a difficult place. But to the extent that the kingdom of heaven is a reality in my life, I can relax much more. It's no longer I have to perform, but rather the reality of heaven makes me relax. That I can live in the presence of God, in the presence of where God is completely sovereign, 完全的掌权在我们的生命当中，在我们的家庭当中，在我们的 finances 当中。所以呢，接下来呢，耶稣 continue to instruct， 他说 OK， 你们要去，你们要 preach，OK？ 那他 focus on 了一个东西，还蛮有趣的。他接下来要讲的东西其实非常的 challenging。At first glance, it makes no sense. But if you look deeper, Jesus actually has a meaning in that. Acquire no gold. 你们去的时候呢，你们不要多带钱 or silver or copper for your belts. No bag for your journey or 2 tunics or tunic. What? It looks like tuna sandwiches. I don't know why. No 2 tunics or sandals. I have a little bit of a reading issue here. No, or 2 tunics or sandals or a staff. 这些东西都不要多带。For the laborer deserves his food. 所以他们说，你们不要去多领钱、多带钱，或多带衣服，或多带 any of these stuff. Just go. I believe what Jesus was trying to say is it's very urgent. It's very urgent. It's a quick preaching tour. You're just going to go and you're going to come back. Don't bring all these extra stuff. You're just going to go and you're going to come back. Now, I can relate to this. 因为每一次我要去读书，如果说我不在家读书的话，我要去读书的时候，我什么都要带。OK， 有时候我带一个书包，然后我旁边还要带一个书包，然后书包里面也塞满，我的书包里面也塞满，带一大堆东西。How long am I going to be there? Like 30 minutes. Okay, I only have 30 minutes, but I need everything just in case, right? 那有时候我是去有 Yosemite 玩的时候呢，我什么都要带，你带一个西瓜够不够？不行，要带2个、3个西瓜。然后你要带多少食物？ You gotta make sure you have enough food for like 8 days. How long am I gonna be there? Like 4 days. But just in case, you better be prepared. You better have enough. Now for some of us, you stuff your minivan full of stuff this morning coming to church, right? Will you need everything? Not really. You're gonna be here an hour, 2 hours. You're gonna go back, right? Just in case. 那这些门徒们呢也是 I better be safe. 你最好把所有的 Jesus going no. Don't do that. In a way, Jesus is trying to lighten them though and to focus on the clarity of mission. And also Jesus is conveying the urgency of it is 现在马上就要去了. You don't have time to gather all that. You need to do it right now. And also it's going to be a really short one. It's going to be a really short tour. 我在想这个 passage 的时候啊 makes me
知道有时候耶稣叫我们做一些事情的时候 is very hard， 要 challenge 我们的灵命的时候 is very hard。我们不愿意成长 ，God is actually asking us to grow and go out and have faith in Him。可是我们很多时候我们不愿意成长，但是成长其实 require certain things。我在高中的时候，有一些朋友们可能就男生们都是很 close， 然后有些男生们就开始交女朋友，那交女朋友就消失，对不对？然后，这男的消失，交女朋友就消失，怎么会这样子啊？然后我们其他男生就开始说那个男生的坏话，这男的都不够义气，不够朋友，搞什么啊？有女朋友就这样 forsake 我们。As I grow older， 我发现，在教会里面交女朋友消失，这个男的怎么这样子啊？烦死了！而且还有一些很恶心的一些 talk， 他们两男就是这一对情侣，他们讲话的时候还是那种，好吗？然后另外一个还不错，OK， 要不要去吃饭？OK 啊，好啊。然后旁边人恶心死了啦！怎么这样子啊？已经不跟我们黑告，然后还那么恶心，那有必要在 public 那么恶心吗？对不对？这人真的超恶心的。然后自己交流relationship的，你还好吗？那有些人可能你现在坐在这边，然后你在 judge 我，对不对？你就说，你好恶心哦，对不对 ，Honey？ Sometimes when you go to a certain stage in life, you just have to forsake certain things. 你的时间不够多 for all your friends. 你可能之前 you have all the time to hang out with your buddies, right? 你朋友很多，然后都很好玩。现在可能结婚或者是 you're in a relationship, you don't have time for other people. You don't have time for other things, right? You don't. Just as you grow older, there are certain things you have to forsake. 我们的灵命也是一样，我们的人生的成长不是也是一样吗？ As we grow older, there are certain things we have to forsake. We have to not bring with us in order for us to be successful on the next journey. 有些人是心态，有些人是态度，有些人是习惯。You can no longer bring all of those stuff into the next stage of your life with you. 那有些人就是因为这样子没有办法成长，不是吗？有些人永远是 stuck in that situation where they experience a while ago, in that failed relationship, in that failure in school, in that failure in the past. 他们没有办法 look forward. They still want to bring all that in, so they're not doing their past any good. They're not doing their reality any good. They're definitely not doing the future any good. And for some of us, you just have to learn leaving and forsaking 从前当小孩子的东西 in order to 成长成为更 mature 的Christian.
And Jesus continues to say, and whatever town or village you enter, find out who is worthy in it and stay there until you depart. And as you enter the house, greet it. And if the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. And if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. 我在神学院的时候，我有一个朋友，他在做 campus ministry 的时候，他们其实 very interesting. And I think this can be 他其实做很大的 campus ministry。那他在跟我讲的时候 as he goes on to the campus， 他在传福音的时候呢 he always focus on this thing that he will always look for the person of peace. That there is one person who will have the heart, who will have the passion, who will greet you, and he or she will open the door. 他是一个 missionary, okay? He does campus ministry and he does so much mission. There's always that one person that God has provided so that it opens the door. And I think that's very relevant. 有些我们在学新的 leader, it's amazing. 你只要好好的 minister to this person, 这个 person will minister to so many people and will grab so many people to come to Christ. Where you did not have influence over, this person of peace will have influence over these people. And for some of us, you are that person of peace. That you bring so many people to come to know Christ, and you open so many doors, and you are so hospitable to so many people. The person of peace. And if anyone will not receive you or listen to your words, shake off the dust from your feet when you leave that house or town. Truly I say to you, it will be more bearable on the day of judgment for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah than for that town. 所以呢，在那边其实 Jesus actually is demonstrating something that the Jewish custom do. 他们犹太人呢，他们 so reject the ways of the Gentile. 他们觉得外邦人没有上帝，所以呢，外邦人是不 clean 的。他们犹太人呢是 clean 的 ，as according to 他们的 traditions and laws.
所以呢，他们进去外邦人的 town 的时候，他们走进去，然后 shopping whatever 做买卖 whatever。离开的时候呢，如果说这是外邦人的 town， 他们离开的时候会把他们 sandal 拍 ，make sure not even one grain of dust goes with them， 拍掉，然后他们才 leave， 因为他们觉得外邦人是不 clean 的。In a way， 耶稣在这边跟他们讲说，你们去传福音的时候，如果说这个城市不愿意听你的，他们不愿意听，他们不愿意 receive， 他们不愿意接待你，他们不愿意 greet you， 他们不愿意接受神的福音的时候 ，Go ahead and I give you permission to just shake it off, and just go on. And for some of us, you focus on a ministry that it has no fruit and you refuse to move on. For sometimes God has called us to just keep ministering to, but sometimes God will say, hey. 如果说这个东西不 fruitful, why do you continue to focus on it? Why don't you change your focus and change what God has called you to do differently? But for some of us, 这个东西 doesn't work. You just keep doing it. It doesn't work. You just keep doing it. If I'm faithful enough for 20, 30 years, all my life, then God will produce. But God has not called you to do that. You're going to suffer. You're just been wasting your time. For some ventures, you simply need to change or die. So do I believe that certain ministries need to be shut down? Yeah. For 我们学习的 ministry, there are some things that just doesn't work. I say, hey, maybe we need to stop doing that because it's not working. Being faithful and wasting life is not the calling of God, but rather being clear about what God has called you to do with focus and intensity and continue to persevere in it is what God has called us to do. You have to clearly know what God has called you to do. There are certain things you just gotta go, I'm done, moving on. Behold, 接下来耶稣又 continue to say these really tough words. I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpent and innocent as dove. 这边就3个动物了，如果你喜欢动物的话，这是一个 verse, right? I'm not sure, okay. Behold, I'm sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. 4个动物，对不起。Sheep, wolf, serpent, and dove. 4个 okay. So it's very interesting. 他说 you're supposed to be sheep. But then these people will want to eat you alive. There are certain companies, there are certain entities that you enter in, there are things that people will want to hurt you like that. But here's Jesus' instructions as disciples. It's very, very interesting. You are to be as wise as serpents. 很聪明，politically, you know how to navigate through all this. It's so necessary to be able to speak in a certain way, to be able to speak carefully, to be able to speak wisely. But yet, if you only have that, to be as shrewd as serpents, these are the type of people who are just like, oh, 这个人好烦哦，为什么他永远都要这样子 politically trying to navigate through everything? At the same time, God is saying there's 2 tensions here that you have to grab a hold of. You need to be as innocent as a dove. As innocent as a dove. As docile as a dove. And these 2 are so important. 那有些人觉得 being a Christian, 你只能是 be a dove, 很 gentle all the time. But Jesus, that's what Jesus said. Jesus also says you need to be as shrewd as a serpent. You need to navigate the terrains as you walk out. So Christians are supposed to be really wise, knows how to navigate, knows how to do a lot of navigation in terms of politics, but yet at the same time, you need to be so innocent. Middle school 啊，高中或者是大学的 locker room 啊，然后男生呢总是比较 playful， 对不对？他们会拿那个 towel， 对不对？然后大家都在 towel 里面就干嘛？就把它卷，OK， 卷起来的时候呢，最好是湿的那种，然后你就看到另外一个男的经过，然后呢就把他啪，然后就拿那个 towel 开始打人，对不对？那打人很痛啊，可是那个 towel is really, really soft, right? Isn't it? It's so soft. 是什么吗？ Okay, it's so soft. Yet when you do it, when you really tighten it, when you slap it like that, it hurts. It really hurts, right? It really hurts. But in a way, you're so soft. In a way, you're so strong. I think there is something in that analogy. I don't know if it'll work, but hey, if it helps you, it helps you. Okay. So continue. Beware of men, and for they will deliver you over to the courts. 接下来 what Jesus will say is actually super depressing. 其实呢 Matthew chapter 10 is divided into 3 sections, okay? Matthew chapter 10 is divided into 3 sections. 第一个 section, 耶稣叫门徒们说 immediately as you go on mission, this is what you need to do. You need to proclaim, you need to all that, right? Be serpent, be dove. 第二个 section 呢，耶稣 while he's talking about mission 的时候呢，他所有的 tense in the Greek, okay? 新约是希腊文写的， All the tenses in the Greek are future tense. No longer is it present tense. It's all future tense. 所以耶稣在这边讲的全部都是有关于 future missionaries. What will happen to them? What will their role be? Beware of men, for they will deliver you over to the courts, and they will flog you in the synagogues. And you will be dragged before governors and kings for my sake to bear witness before them and the Gentiles. When they deliver you over, do not be anxious how you are to speak or what you are to say. For what you are to say will be given to you in the hour. For it is not you who speaks, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. When they persecute you, and they will, in one town, flee to the next. You need to flee. For truly I say to you, you will not have gone through all these towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. 他这边全部都在讲 future tense, that is talking about us currently. And there's definitely a lot of persecution in the world. A lot of difficulties. And a lot of sufferings. For some of us, you do suffer. You do suffer relationally, you do suffer at church, you do suffer from family. And you are discouraged. 也许服侍让你很 discouraged. Because difficult things will happen. Now, are we all going to be flogged and persecuted and thrown into jail? I don't think so. But difficult things will happen. But why all this suffering? Why all the trouble? Why all this difficulty? As Christians, 有时候觉得好像出去传福音就会很惨。And in reality, 耶稣也说很惨。好像当一个 Christian 本身其实就 sometimes it's not easier. Sometimes 有时候我传福音的时候 I'll tell you guys how I feel. 有时候我传福音的时候，我甚至不想要跟他讲上帝，因为有时候跟随上帝很辛苦。有时候跟随上帝好像感觉很多的 burden upon us， 很多 difficulty upon us， 很多的必须。You have to do this. You cannot do that. So why all the suffering and the troubles and the difficulty? In a second, I'm going to share these verses and I'll share something deep within me. For all these sufferings and all these difficulty, all these chaos in our Christian walks, in our lives, Jesus has this response in the chapter, book of Matthew, chapter 10. 耶稣跟他说 While you're going through all the suffering, are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? 两个麻雀 Are they not sold for a penny? Are not one of them, and not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father. But even the hairs of your head are numbered. 你知道耶稣在说什么吗？耶稣说这个小小的动物，人家2个 penny，一个 penny 可以买2只，所以就是超便宜。他那个卖你的人，他连找都不想找人，就是你直接拿2只 ，OK？ 这只鸟是多么的 not worth anything。他们那时候在以色列人，他们会 actually 串然后来吃啊，然后来当一个 short snack or something like that. This is they're super cheap, right? But are they not just a penny? Are they not just a penny? They're really cheap. 耶稣说，上帝会控制他们。Furthermore, it says, and not only will fall to the ground apart from your Father's will, but even your hairs. 那 for 我们有一些男生 ，OK， 最近我也在看，在吹头发的时候 ，OK， 这边怎么好像比较少一点头发，然后 OK。But God actually says every single one of our hairs, He cares about. All the suffering in the world, all the suffering in your family, all the suffering that you're going through, the difficulties that you're going through, Jesus is saying, not one hair on your head falls that God doesn't know about. You know what He really is saying? Something so small God cares about. But you, He cares so much about. You know what that means? God cares so much about your finances. God cares so much about your family. 你的小孩子, your relationship. God cares so much about you. That amidst all the suffering, God cares deeply about you. And every little aspect of your life, even though your friends and people around you do not care as much, God cares about the small things in your life. Fear not, therefore. You are more valuable than many sparrows. You are so valuable. God knows you and loves you in all your difficulties. Preaching is not easy for me. Preaching is very hard for me. It is a huge struggle for me. It is. 我从大学的时候开始信上帝，我的passion就是服侍上帝。 帝啊 I love 服侍上帝。有时候我带敬拜，有时候我 do different things， 然后有时候 I get to lead Bible study. Preaching is not easy for me. And throughout the year， 我在大学，后来去读神学院等等，我一直到现在在服侍。服侍 has become, this is very personal to me. 服侍 has become harder and harder for me. Not because the situations have changed, because 我自己 keep putting pressure on myself. 从我开始 come on staff 的时候，我就开始把一些 burden 放在我自己的身上。I know 有些跟我 work closely 的辅导和小组长可能知道，但是 when I preach to 大学生的时候 ，whenever I preach， 我 try my best to preach as hard as I can。所以呢，每一次的 PowerPoint 呢，不管是在学新，不管是在活泉，不管是在儿童堂或者是在 1.5， 我每次在试着要讲到的时候呢，我都 prepare at least 2 sermons worth of material in one sermon. So I want to really preach it. I want to make sure I get through all the material. 每一次 sometimes I even go as much as 3 sermon worth of material into one sermon. And I push, and every time 我讲完 sermon 的时候 those of you who are close to me, you know my struggles. 你就会听到我讲完到的时候就that was so horrible. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that. And I beat myself up all the time. Now I don't share this with a lot of people. And those close to me knows. And it becomes so difficult to serve God. And I know for some of us, you're discouraged from serving God. And for some of us, you're so burdened with a lot of stuff, it's hard to serve God. 所以这个礼拜我在 prepare 这个 sermon 的时候 and I'm going to share a song with all of us. And 等一下可能请后面的 PowerPoint 帮忙。As I prepare the sermon 的时候呢 God reminded me of a song. And 我在自己在敬拜的时候，I came across this song and it's so ministered to me. It was a song that 我在大学的时候，我服侍上帝的时候 when there's no paycheck 的时候 when there is nothing in the world 的时候 God ministered to me through this song. And it so encouraged me to focus on what God has called me to do. 那请后面的 PowerPoint 帮忙一下。And I'll end with this song. And for some of us, I just want to encourage you. There will be difficulties in your lives, but I think God calls us once again to serve Him, to focus on Him, to have a clarity in our lives, to know what He has called us to do. Now, this week as I sing this song, just so much tear has run down my eyes. And I hope this song bless you as it blessed me, to once again focus and center your life upon God. 献上至今为祭，完全降服于你，灵火熊熊来焚烧，恩膏厚厚是意。摆开征战步伐，高举基督荆棘。你看我们为华冠，以我们为精灵，让我们重建大卫到他的帐幕，我们起来堵住其中的破口，重修毁坏的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临，让我们重建大卫到他的帐幕，我们起来堵住其中的破口，重建毁坏的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。 请大家一起起立。如果说你需要接你的小孩子来 our service officially ends now. 请大家一起起立 as we sing again and respond. Think about the calling that God has called you to do. Doesn't matter 5, 10, 20 years ago, but what has God called you to do? And what has God called you to minister? Who has God called you to minister to? And as we sing this song, I want you to sing it like a prayer. It's not about anybody around you, but it's just between you and God. 献上自己，献上自己为祭，完全降服于你，领我胸胸来焚烧，很高火火是一起，迈开征战步伐，高举基督荆棘，你看我们为华冠，以我们为精兵，让我们从前大卫到他的帐幕，我们起来堵住其中的破口，释放祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。让我们从前大卫到他的帐幕，我们起来堵住其中的破口，从社会外的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。让我们从前大卫到他的帐幕 ，Sing with your heart， 我们起来堵住其中的破口，从社会外的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。从社会外的祭坛，从社会外的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。从社会外的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。花一点时间为我们自己祷告，与神祷告。有一个感动，我想要说，上帝关心我们某些人 so intensely。上帝说：“我对你 ，I have my plans. Don't get discouraged. I have my plans for you. I have a plan to prosper you and to make you fruitful. I want there to be so many spiritual descendants for you that you don't even know of, that you can't even count, as I did Abraham. I want you to get up, and I want you to walk. No longer being beaten down, but to walk in faith, to walk in trust, to walk in healing. Would you do that? Would you do that? Would you do that? 再唱一次。让我们中间大卫到他的帐幕，我们起来堵住其中的破口，重修毁坏的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。让我们中间大卫到他的帐幕，我们起来堵住其中的破口，重修毁坏的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。最后的请让我们中间大卫到他的帐幕，我们起来堵住其中的破口，重修毁坏的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。In a second, we're going to sing it one last time. But if you truly believe what you sing, and this is your prayer, this is your dedication once again to God, in response to Him, as we sing again, would you raise both of your hands? Raise both of your hands in faith, in trust, that God, I once again respond to you, that God, I once again want you to walk with me, and once again instill in me the vision you have called me to do. Would you raise your hand as we sing again? 让我们中间大卫到他的帐幕 Sing with faith. 我们起来堵住其中的破口，重修毁坏的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。让我们中间大卫到他的帐幕，我们起来堵住其中的破口，重修毁坏的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。快点，谁帮自己祷告？让我们重建大卫到他的帐幕，我们起来堵住其中的破口，重修毁坏的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。重修毁坏的祭坛，释放被掳的灵魂，愿你荣耀的国度降临。Father God, you see your people today, you saw their hands raised to you, to once again dedicate themselves back to you, to once again answer the calling you have upon their lives, to no longer be discouraged, but to walk in faith. Father, would you help us to do that? 你看到在你面前那时候刚举手的那些人 would you respond to us? Would you respond to us? This week as we walk forward, would you respond and would you tell us and confirm the message you have spoken to our hearts? you teach us how to walk with you? No longer according to our will, but according to your will. And your will be done in our lives. Continue to minister to us. In Jesus' name. We're going to continue to worship